puede hablar mucho, ¿vale, chicos? Porque son las 2 de la noche. Está todo el mundo durmiendo. Puedo intentar hablar así, pero poco más. 3 minutos. 3 minutos para el primer cohete de solo civiles.
Sends the liftoff command to the ground to release it. Hydraulics will bring that strong back the rest of the way to about a 45-degree position at liftoff.
Stage 1 launch load complete.
Got the call out right on time. First stage liquid oxygen loading is complete. Shutting down the ground pumps. We're down to just loading second stage liquid oxygen.
Estoy nervioso.
And now, under 3 minutes until the launch of INSPIRATION4.
Dragon has transitioned to terminal pilot and is on internal power.
All right, and there's that call out that Dragon is now running on its own power. Is no longer connected to the power. 1.5 minutes until the launch of the INSPIRATION4 crew. That crew there can be seen on the right-hand side of your screen, buckled in and ready to go.
Stage 2 LOX load complete.
And there's the call that stage 2 LOX load is
Dragon
complete.
is in auto idle.
Falcon is now fully loaded with all of its propellants.
Will begin shortly. Expect loud venting.
Announcement to let the crew know that as we vent off various lines on the launch pad, we'll hear some loud noises. Let the crew know that this is planned. We're also right now draining the liquid oxygen out of the transporter erector, draining the lines, getting ready for launch. Waiting for the startup call at T-1 minute.
Día 16 del 9 de 2021 a las 2:02.
INSPIRATION4 is go for launch. Punch it, SpaceX.
Commander call it down. 30 seconds. Punch it, SpaceX.
T-minus 15 seconds.
Copy, 1 Alpha.
Vehicles pitching downrange.
Acaba de haber justo un rayaco enorme en mi casa.
The spark mission flying INSPIRATION4 crew on board Dragon and Falcon 9. Right here with the crew in the capsule. We're into the throttle down, into the throttle bucket.
Joder la velocidad. Lo rápido que son los kilómetros, chaval.
And then the flight.
Supersonic.
Stage 1 throttle up.
We're through the period of maximum dynamic pressure.
Copy,
We're
1
throttled
Bravo.
back up, and 1 Bravo, the call out from space. That's one of the abort sequences. That is a nominal call. Everything continues to be good. Looks like a smooth ride for the crew.
Lo que es ese cohetazo. Ahora mismo van a casi 4.000 kilómetros hora. Qué locurote. Cómo avanza el ser humano, tío. Avanza a pasos agigantados. Demasiados.
Merlin engines are throttling down for G limiting. 4 Gs, so we're holding it there for the crew. Major event coming up will be main engine cutoff, followed by stage separation, looking at the second stage engine nozzle, and then ignition of the second stage.
And MECO. Stage separation.
Officially, the Inspiration4 crew are now on their way to space. First stage booster there on the left-hand side of your screen is making its way
No sé lo que es
down
cada
to Earth.
cosa,
The grid
pero se han
engine
separado.
popped out to assist with the steering. It will be making a landing attempt on our drone ship. Just read the instructions, which is parked out in holding position in the Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah, so we have a couple of views on
Acquisition
screen.
signal Bermuda.
As Kate mentioned, left-hand side is a view from the top of our first stage looking down. That has already separated from the second stage.
Hay una parte que pone entry born.
The velocity of the first stage
Va a entrar en arder algo.
being tracked on the
No
bottom
sé qué.
left-hand side of your screen. On the right-hand side of your screen is a view of our second stage Merlin vacuum engine. On the opposite end of that engine is the second stage and the crew, which sits on top of the second stage. Everything looks to be going normally with them, and you can also track the velocity on the second stage on the bottom right-hand side of the screen. We also have awesome views of the crew inside of their capsule as well.
I'm pretty sure during first stage ascent, I saw Dr. Cyan Proctor. I'm pretty sure I saw Dr. Cyan Proctor give us 2 thumbs up. I'm sure she enjoyed this ride that she's been waiting for her entire life.
One notable thing too is we're getting some twilight views. The sun just set in Florida, but we're high enough up where the light around the horizon is also reflecting off of very high altitude objects, such as the first and second stages.
Dragon SpaceX, trajectory nominal.
Love to hear that call on trajectory nominal from the guidance engine.
Casi 10.000 kilómetros hora.
Really up there now, well past 100 kilometers.
Acquisition signal New Hampshire.
Just before that view switched, we saw some teammate fist bumps going on there inside
Creo que se ha
the
separado
cabin.
y la parte de atrás se ha quedado arriba y se está rompiendo sola paso a paso, poco a poco.
And their journey isn't over. We've got about 7 more minutes until Dragon separates from the second stage.
Yes, next milestone for this mission is actually going to be happening on the first stage. It's going to be performing a re-entry burn that's going to be coming up around the T+7 minute and 30-second mark. That burn is used to slow down the first stage before it re-enters the denser parts of the atmosphere. A few minutes later, it will execute a landing burn and make an attempt to land on our drone ship that's currently parked in the Atlantic Ocean.
Dragon SpaceX, trajectory nominal.
Dragon copies.
So far, I'm just going to say, so far, everything looking great for the Inspiration4 crew. Hearing that everything is proceeding nominally there with the second stage, which is what you see on the right-hand side. That
propulsion nominal.
I was just going to say that MVAC engine we just heard now is looking nominal.
About a minute left to go before the first stage performs its first burn.
And on your left-hand side, looking at the first stage, you may see those white puffs. Those are the nitrogen puffs helping to steer and guide the vehicle. Basically,
SpaceX trajectory nominal.
Basically, is the attitude control
Time count.
for the vehicle as it makes its way back down to Earth.
There's the crew on the right-hand side of your screen. I think I see some more thumbs up there. Dr. Proctor is clearly excited that she's finally in space. Again, this mission will be orbiting Earth for 3 days, and they will be at an altitude of 575 kilometers, which, if I remember correctly, John you said that that is the distance from Los Angeles to the Golden Gate Bridge.
There you go. They're going to get there a lot faster.
First two, FTS safe.
Right now.
Exacto. Joder, la precisión.
So what you're seeing on the screen on the left-hand side is the entry burns, the first of 2 burns on the first stage. Again, this first stage has already separated from the second stage. So the first stage is making its way back to Earth, trying to land, and the second stage, everything is going well. It is headed into orbit with the crew on board.
Actually, there on your screen, you can see a sunrise horizon there with planet Earth just behind the glowing MVAC engine.
Stage 2 is internal guidance.
All on stage 2 in terminal guidance. We're at the altitude. We're working the angular momentum we need to get into the right orbit. If you're wondering, cruise pull about 3.5 Gs right now, less than it took on the first stage flight.
So in about 15 seconds, we are expecting
Copy Shannon.
We are expecting the MVAC to throttle down and cut off an event called second engine cutoff, and then we'll wait for the confirmation of good orbit. At the same time, the first stage will be beginning its landing burn. And here we have the MVAC. We just saw that it shut off its engine.
Stage 1, landing burn, go ahead.
SpaceX orbit insertion.
All right, good news there. Nominal orbit insertion. That's amazing news for Inspiration4 crew.
We were just carrying right to the doorstep of an exciting and unexplored frontier. A few have come before and many are about to follow. The door's opening now, and it's pretty incredible.
Stage 1, landing
La
engine.
parte que se ha separado
SpaceX.
ha aterrizado. Me gusta. Nuestro español del espacio.
We just heard from Jared thanking everyone for making this mission possible. The Dragon capsule and crew are in a nominal orbit. In a few minutes here, we'll begin opening that. Oh, excuse me. In a few minutes here, we'll separate from the second stage, and then shortly after that, we'll begin opening that nose cone. At the same time, we landed our first stage on the drone ship, which is super exciting.
As if the second stage action wasn't exciting enough.
Right.
So there's that MVAC engine, like we mentioned before, it has already shut down in an event known as second engine cutoff. And the crew are now gliding, if you will.
Now, one thing right now is we're coming up just under 11 minutes in the flight. We're waiting another minute and a half or so before we get into the separation sequence. The second stage is going through a series of events where we make sure that gases are all pushed out of the system. There aren't any what they call disturbance torques. We want to make sure that the second stage is very stable, it's quiet, it's not moving around, it's not doing anything. So we give it a few minutes to actually just vent everything down, then go into quiet mode, then Dragon will send the command to separate itself from the Falcon 9. It will be pushed away. Falcon 9 stays in orbit for a while until it eventually comes back to Earth, and then Dragon moves on its way.
Yeah, John, you talked about the terminal count earlier today, and this is almost similar to that. It's like another check before the next thing, before the next event that happens.
The beauty of the countdown.
Yeah, we're about 30 seconds away from separation of Dragon from the second stage. The view on the left-hand side of the screen is a view of the unpressurized section of Dragon. So it's the sort of back end, the trunk section of the Dragon. So when we do see separation, we'll see that kind of push away from the second stage and make its way into orbit.
Once again, the Inspiration4 has lifted off from pad 39A. They are now in orbit around Earth.
Separation confirmed.
Enjoy your time on orbit, and we look forward to flying again with SpaceX.
And copy that, Gers. We really appreciate both help back in LCC.
That was the voice of SpaceX Chief Engineer Bill Gerstenmayer communicating with Inspiration4 Commander Jared Isaacman. So Dragon has separated away from the second stage, and that's the view that we have on the left-hand side of your screen. A lot of space there. The next event that we are anticipating is the opening.
SpaceX, nominal dehumidifier activation and service section Draco checkouts.
We're going to open up that nose cone.
Y bueno, chicos, yo me voy a ir a dormir, ¿vale? Son las 12:18, ¿vale? Las 2:18. Y yo me voy a ir a dormir. Mañana por la mañana veré a ver si ha pasado algo más, si ha aterrizado bien. Reaccionaré supongo también, o sea que sea el siguiente clip y eso. Pero bueno, yo me despido. Le estoy moviendo demasiado la cámara. Me voy a dormir, ¿vale? Tengo mucho sueño. Adiós, chicos. Me alegro de que haya ido bien. Espero que la vuelta a la Tierra os vaya también bien.